Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Weriawan and welcome to Bandungan, Central Java, Indonesia. I'm here with my wife and also some of my friends. We're having just a quick vacation. We're going to stay for about one night here. Photography is not the main point of this vacation. We just want to relax, we just want to have fun and enjoy the scenery. But I thought I want to bring my cameras and lenses and try to capture some pictures while I'm here during my downtime. Anyway, this is part of my everyday photography vlogs. You can check out the other videos up here on the card above. Anyway, in terms of my photography gear, I'm bringing a few cameras and lenses in this trip. Nothing too much, I just bring only the essential except for one camera, which is the Leica M8.2. It's not essential and it's not the best camera for travel photography, but I just want to bring it because I'm not traveling by plane, so I'm not limited in terms of weight and size. The other camera, my primary camera, is the Panasonic Lumix GX850. Together with some lenses, I brought with me the Panasonic Lumix 14-140, the Laowa 7.5mm, and also the Panasonic Lumix 20mm f1.7. So yeah, this is a much needed vacation and I am already feeling inspired by all the sceneries that I see. I was feeling a little bit burnt out a few days ago. I don't really feel like taking that much pictures, but now because of the change of scenery and all that kind of stuff, it really influenced me to take more pictures and have fun with photography again. So now let's try to capture some pictures. Alright, so I want to try to capture this beautiful chapel right here from a little bit of a height so I can get more of the foreground and don't have that, depth of field effect, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a beautiful chapel and I want to try to capture it. So I'm going to use the Panasonic Lumix GX850 together with the 14-140mm. I'm setting my camera aperture priority f5.6. So I'm going to try to play around with the composition, trying to include as much foreground as I can, and then I will try to remove as much foreground as I can and that kind of stuff so we can get different kind of shots. So yeah, f5.6 aperture priority auto ISO, 14mm. Let's try to capture it. I don't want to crop too much, so now let's try not a whole lot of foreground, something like this. Let's try again, horizontal. Very simple. It's a beautiful one. So with pictures like this, I usually like to be perfectly symmetry. I want the geometry to be as perfect as I can, especially with wider angle focal lengths, because it's really exaggerated at wider angle focal length. So let's try vertical, and I want to try to include as much of the pathway right here. Maybe it works, maybe it won't work. We just have to try something like this. All right, one more. Nice. Let's back down a little bit so we get more of the surroundings. I want to try to frame the chapel with these trees right here. I mean the leaves right here and the LED lights and the fence as well. Make it a frame within the frame kind of look. Something like this maybe. Perfectly centered in terms of composition. A little bit of the leaves from the above help to frame otherwise a really bland and boring sky. Alright, so I'm moving a little bit closer to the chapel area and I found this nice vantage point overlooking the town of Bandungan in Central Java, Indonesia. I think it looks really nice from this area right here. I want to get a closer look so you guys can see. Yeah, that's the whole town of Bandungan. We're near a mountain called Mount Ungaran, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, beautiful view. It's really nice view. I'm going to try to take some pictures, but I'm going to, tell you a little bit of my technique of trying to capture this kind of fast scenery. So I'm here with the 14-140 again and the GX850. So the usual instinct is to try to capture everything all at once using a wide angle lens so you can get a panoramic view of the whole thing. We're just going to try to capture that. So yeah, something like this. That's what people usually like, but I'm going to try to take a different approach to this composition. You know what? I'm going to back off a little bit, so I'm going to walk back, and as you can see we have some flowers on the foreground and those lampposts that can really help to frame the image to add a little bit of a foreground of interest so that the image is not as boring. So I'm going to try to take a picture incorporating these elements as foreground. So yeah, something like this. I hope you can see what I'm doing in the camera. This is just regular setting f5.6 aperture priority, nothing special. Auto ISO, something like this. I'm cropping the image probably to 16:9. Well, I haven't known yet because I will edit this image later in a Lightroom, but yeah, something like this. So I'm adding these elements, the lamp post right here and also the flower to help to frame the image better. And then also I'm trying to not to use wider angle focal lengths. I want to try to focus on just a certain spot of the frame right here of the scenery, so I'm not trying to capture everything. And that's where a lens like this really comes to light, because you can zoom in into a telephoto focal length and you have a more focused kind of distant landscape photo. And with the help of these flowers as a foreground, I think it will make the image looks nicer. So yeah, let me give you an example. Probably something like this. Vertical composition, I'm focusing on the right there. We have some hilly area that looks really prominent right there. I'm trying to point it with my finger. I hope you can see it, and yeah, let's try to capture that. So yeah, right away you can see my composition. This is about 40-ish millimeter, 50-ish millimeter. So we have a little bit of the hill on top right there of the frame, and then we have a little bit of parts of the town as a midground, and then the foreground will be the flowers right there. Right, you can see it on the camera, f5.6 auto ISO, 50 millimeter. Let's take the shot. All right, something like that. That's my preference these days. I don't want to try to capture everything, but I want to focus only a certain part of the scenery. So yeah, let's try to zoom in a little bit closer so we can get more of the actual scenery rather than just the foreground. So yeah, with the hill behind, I think it looks really nice. Let's try horizontal composition. Yeah, we can adjust the whole thing by raising and lowering the camera as needed. Let's try that. I think I don't want too much of the foreground, and I don't want too much of the midground. So something like this, it helps compress everything together. Looks really nice. Nice, yep. And I like it. We have some really prominent building right there in the midground. I want to try to focus on that. Helps to anchor the eyes. What about that side right there? We have some trees. Maybe we can use those trees for framing device, making the image look more interesting, especially with the help of the flowers in the foreground. Let's try to do that. Let's find something interesting. Maybe the intersection between the hills right there. This is about 60-ish millimeter. I will zoom in and zoom out as needed. Let's try to capture it. Yeah, maybe it will work, maybe it won't work. I don't really know, but yeah, let's try some other ones. I just want to try to give you an insight about my framing technique when I'm shooting a scenery like this. So yeah, again, this is 60 millimeter. I want to try to focus on that large building on the middle right there. I'll try to point it with my finger. That one, yeah. All right, vertical composition. I can lower the camera to get more foreground, or I can raise the camera to get less foreground, something like this. Zoom in a little bit more, probably about 70-ish millimeter. That looks really nice. With the help of the flowers, it makes everything looks more interesting. Alright, so I found another nice vantage point, and as you can see right there, there's like a little mountain right there covered in clouds. That is called Mount Ungaran, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to try to capture that. It's cloudy right now, so it's not optimum, but tomorrow morning hopefully it will be clear sky, and I will try to recapture this place again from this vantage point. So I will try to photograph it with the GX850 and the 14 to 140 millimeter lens. Definitely we will need to zoom. I don't want to include that BTS tower right there. Just want to include the trees and a little bit of that mountain right there. So yeah, probably something at about 35 millimeter. Let's try. I will try to focus somewhere in the middle. Aperture priority at 5.6. Alright, seems good enough. Let's try to capture it. I'm going to try to switch a little bit to the left right here, because actually that's also part of the mountain. So this is about 25-ish. I will zoom in and out as needed. So yes, probably I'm zooming out to about 18, 20-ish. Right there, let's try to capture it. Alright, something like this. Really nice. Really nice. Let's zoom in a little bit to about 20 now. Beautiful. Alright. I'm gonna try to just focus on the right side of that mountain. I'm going to use the flipping, swiveling screen right here to help me monitor the whole thing, the composition. I'm focusing on one of the trees. f5.6 is plenty depth of field. I will get everything in focus anyway. Let's try again. Let's zoom out just a little bit. Now let's zoom in. I want to try to get more of the Mount Ungaran. Something like this. If we zoom in even more, we can start to get some compression and see some stacked layers of that trees over there. I think that looks also nice. Let's try to do that. I need a little bit of point of interest for the eye, so I'm going to use that part of the mosque right there, the yellow curvy roof right there, as sort of a point of interest. Alright, something like this I think looks nice. Let's try vertical. Alright, looks interesting, but I don't really get that 3 layers. I have to abandon the mosque roof, so I'm just going to try to do something like this. Right, yeah, it looks mysterious. It has that kind of, you know, calm but mysterious kind of vibe. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed today's vlog. I hope that this has been inspiring and informative and entertaining as well. Makes you want to go out and take some pictures. Please comment down below which one is your favorite picture. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my channel even further, consider using the affiliate links on the description below, or use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.